Okay, good morning, everybody. So today we will continue our lecture. Yeah. So in this sixth meeting today, we will continue in chapter 10. This is a topic about rotation, especially about dynamical rotation. Okay, so we'll remember again the variables about rotation. Yeah. Recognize if all parts of body rotate around the fixed axis locked together, the body is rigid bodies. Okay. So remember in the two-dimensional problem or two-dimensional kinematics, we have studied about rotational kinematics. In kinematics, we know that there are several variables in rotation, such as the theta. Theta is the angle about rotation, and then omega. Omega is the angular velocities. Okay. Okay. I mean, remind again about rotational kinematics. Imagine that we have our Cartesian coordinates in x and y. And then here is the path of particle motion. Okay. So imagine that we have a particle in this point, for example. So the position of particle here is R, and then we can project it to X and Y axis. Yeah. So here is X and Y position. Okay. So if the particle move, for example, from this point to another point to here, and there is the change the position in angle theta, right? So theta is the angle of uh, the difference angle. I mean delta theta. Okay. So delta theta is the final position minus the initial position. So here is the initial theta, and then here is the final theta. Theta is the angle. It means that initial theta is here, theta I, and then final theta is here. Yeah. Here is theta F. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If we divide by time, delta theta by delta t, we can get the angular velocities. Okay. So the angular velocities, omega, is defined as delta theta divided by delta t. Yeah. Delta theta divided by delta t. So this one is the angular velocities. Yeah. This one is the angular velocities. Okay. Angular velocity is the rate displacement of theta divided by time. Yeah. When we will if we want to measure what is the instantaneous omega or instantaneous angular velocity, we can take the derivative. Yeah. So we can get that omega is the limit when delta t close to 0, delta theta divided by delta t. This one is d theta dt. Yeah. This one is the instantaneous angular velocity. Yeah. Okay. And another variables in rotational kinematics, we also have that frequency, right? Frequency is how many rotation in 1 second. Yeah. So it's frequency. But if you want to measure the time is what is time to make one rotation. This one is period. Yeah. So we know here the frequency F. This one is frequency. So the relation is omega is 2 pi times frequency. Yeah. And then T is the period, yeah, the period of rotation that we have omega is 2 pi divided by T. Yeah. This one is the period of rotation. Okay. Okay, so the period in second, but frequency in hertz. So Frequency, it means that how many rotation in 1 second. But period is time to make one rotation. Yeah. Okay. So this one frequency and period. And this one is the relation, but delta theta divided by delta t. And then if you want to measure the distance, yeah, this one is radius, right? Radius is the distance between the center of circle to the point. Yeah. So we'll get that linear distance delta s. Delta s is delta theta times r. R is the radius. Okay. So here is distance. This is the angle of rotation, and then this one is radius. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So here is the difference rotational and versus linear motion. We now look at motion of rotation. We will find the same laws apply as did for linear motion. And we will need new quantities to express the rotational analogs. Yeah. The first is torque. Torque later we will symbolize by tau. And then rotational inertia. Rotational inertia usually we say as I. Yeah. A rigid body rotates as a unit locked together. We look at rotation about a fixed axis, and these requirements exclude from consideration the sun, where layers of gas rotate separately, and a rolling bowling ball, where rotation and translation occur. Yeah. Okay, here is the important thing, axis of rotation and angular position. The fixed axis is called axis of rotation. So in this case, this one is the rotational axis. Yeah. This one is the rotational axis. And then the angular position of this line and of the object is taken relative to fixed direction, the zero angular position. Yeah. Okay. So for example, this one is the reference line. Yeah. And so the angular position is the line. Yeah. And of the object is taken relative to fixed direction. Okay. So for example, in this case, if we want to measure what is the angle, yeah, the initial angle, it means here. So here x is the fixed axis, okay, or relative axis. Yeah. And also for delta final, x is also for the uh, fixed axis, okay, or reference line. Yeah. Okay. So imagine that if we see these diagrams from the top, so we'll get like this. Yeah. So here is x and y axis, and then r is the radius, s is the linear distance. Yeah. Okay. So the body has rotated counterclockwise by angle theta. This is the positive direction. So in this rule on this, our usually use that theta counterclockwise, theta is positive. But if the theta is clockwise, it means that negative. Yeah. So counterclockwise is the same way with the right hand rule. Yeah. Counterclockwise, this one. But with clockwise, it means negative theta. Yeah. Okay. So here is also important how to convert that I have mentioned before, that theta is S divided by R. Yeah. So measuring using radians, dimensionless, theta is S divided by R. So S is the line or the distance. For example, like this. This one is S. And then theta is the angle. Yeah. Theta is the angle. So the comparison of S and the radius, we call the angle. Yeah. Of theta. So usually we measure in degree or in radian. Yeah. Remember that one revolution or one rotation, it is equal to 360 degrees, is equal to 2 pi radian. Yeah. 2 pi radians means equal to one revolution or one rotation. So imagine that we have a particle. If the particle move, for example, from this angle counterclockwise and back again to this point, yeah, back again to this point. So it means that one rotation. So one rotation equal to 360, yeah, 360 degrees or equal to 2 pi radian. Okay. So 2 pi r is the circumference of a circle, right? Okay. So here is angular displacement. We know all there is a note about the kinematics of rotation. If we have theta, theta is defined by time for an object. Define angular displacement. So delta theta is delta theta, theta 2 minus theta 1. It means final angle minus initial angle. Okay. Okay. So usually we use delta theta as theta final minus theta initial. Okay. So the final position minus initial position. Okay. So the sign, this one is angular displacement sign. Clocks are negative. Yeah. An angular displacement in the counterclockwise direction is positive, and one in the clockwise direction is negative. Yeah. This can rotate about a central axis like a merry-go-round with the following pairs of value for its initial and final angular positions, respectively give a negative angular displacement minus 3 radian, 5 radians, minus 3 to minus 7, and 7 to minus 3 radian. Okay. So our purpose is to know which of the following pairs of value for its initial and final angular positions respectively give a negative angular displacement. Okay. Okay, so for the first, so point A, theta initial is minus 3 radian, right? So theta final is 5 radian. So you can measure delta theta. Delta theta is the theta final minus theta initial. 5 minus minus 3. Okay, so plus 3. So here it becomes 8 radian, right? Okay, so here is positive. Yeah. Okay, so for point A is positive 8 radians. But for point B or problem B, minus 3 to minus 7. Yeah. So delta theta is minus 7 minus minus 3. So it is minus 4. Yeah. So here negative. Yeah. Also for point C, 7 minus 3. Okay. Delta theta is, sorry, I mean that minus 3 minus 7. So minus 10 radian. Yeah. So here negative. So the negative one is point C and point B, right? So here is the negative angular displacement. Yeah. Okay. So remember again that negative, it means that clockwise, yeah, is equal to the direction of clocks, yeah. But the positive one is opposite. It means the counterclockwise, yeah. Okay, here the angular velocity definitions. Average angular velocity or omega average is equal to angular displacement during a time interval. So omega average is delta theta divided by delta t. Yeah. This one is minus delta delta theta. It means that theta final minus theta initial divided by time interval. Yeah. T2 minus T1. So for instantaneous angular velocity, we take the limit delta t close to zero, yeah, from the omega average, So limit delta t close to zero, delta theta per delta t, or equal to d theta dt. Yeah. So we use the derivative of uh, angle. Okay. If the body is rigid, these equations hold for all points on the body, and magnitude of angular velocity is equal to the angular speed. Yeah. So magnitude of angular velocity equal to angular speed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for the graphs, here is the average angular velocity. Imagine that at t1 here, the position is theta 1. Okay. Theta 1. And then in the second time, or theta t2, here is theta 2. Yeah. So you can measure the delta theta. Delta theta is theta 2 minus theta 1. Yeah. This change in the angle of the reference line, which is part of the body, is equal to the angular displacement of the body itself during this time interval. Yeah. Okay, any questions about angular velocity, yeah, or angular speed? Okay, so by definition, the change of angle to the reference line, which is part of the body, is equal to the angular displacement of the body during this time interval. Okay, and then here is the acceleration. Yeah, angular acceleration definitions. So average angular acceleration, or alpha average, is angular velocity change during a time interval. Okay. So alpha average equal to delta omega divided by delta t. Yeah. So is the formulation for alpha. Yeah. Alpha is the acceleration or angular velocity. Acceleration. Sorry, not angular velocity, but angular acceleration. Yeah. This is the change of angular velocity. Okay. So consider again here. Subscribe refer to initial. So 1 is equal to initial, and then 2 equal to final position or final velocity. Yeah. Okay, so instantaneous angular acceleration, we take the limit when delta t close to zero. So alpha is limit when delta t close to zero, delta omega divided by delta t, or d omega dt. Yeah, we can use derivative for the instantaneous acceleration. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any questions about angular velocity and angular accelerations? Okay. So for example, for this problem, yeah, so let's see for this example, angular velocity derived from angular acceleration. Yeah. So child stop a spoon with angular acceleration alpha 5t power 3 minus 4t with t in second and alpha in radians per second square at t equal to 0. The top has angular velocity 5 radian per second. And reference line on its angular position theta equal to 2 radian. Yeah. The first problem is obtain an expression for the angular velocity of the top. Let's find the expression explicitly indicates how the angular velocity depends on time. Yeah. Okay. So we know that alpha is equal to d omega dt, right? So we'll get that d omega is equal to alpha dt. Yeah. If you want to search what is the angular velocity, we take the integral d omega from omega 0 to omega final. So one integral time 0 to time alpha dt. Okay. So it means that omega minus omega 0. So one integral from t 0 to time. Yeah. We know that time is equal to 0. For example, here start from 0. Then alpha is 5t power 3 minus t dt. Okay. So we need to take the integral for this form. Yeah. So here is 5 over 4 t power 4 minus half t square, right? So the boundaries of integral is from 0 to t. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we can put the time. Yeah. So for the final answer for here is omega. We move the omega 0 to the right side. Omega 0 plus 5 over 4 t power 4 minus half t square. Okay. So we know that at t equal to 0, the initial velocity of angular is 5 radian per second. So here is 5. Okay. So omega defined by time is 5 plus 5 over 4 t power 4 minus half t square. Yeah. This one is the answer for point A. Yeah. Okay, so we take the integral for this form. Yeah. Okay, any questions for this one? Yeah, this one is the answer for point A. And then obtain the expression for angular position theta of the top. Yeah. So if you want to search what is theta for point B, we know that omega is d theta dt. Yeah. So d theta is omega dt. Can use integral theta 0 to theta d theta integral from 0 to time omega dt. So omega is here, right? So it's 5 plus 5 over 4 t power 4 minus half t square dt. Yeah. Okay, and then we do the integration. Here is theta minus theta 0 equal to here is 5t plus 5 divided by 5. Okay, 5 over 4, 1 over 5, t power 5. Yeah, minus 1 over 2, 1 over 3, t power 3. Yeah, so you can cancel this one. Okay, so here become theta 0 is equal to 2 radian. Yeah, 2 radian, and then we can move to right side. So here theta depend to time is 2 plus 5t, yeah, plus 1 over 4t power 5 minus 1 over 6 t power 3. Yeah. Okay, this one is the angle. Uh, depend by time. Yeah. Okay, any question for this one? Okay, I think here is 4 divided by 2, right? So this one is not half, but here is 2. Yeah. 2, and then this one also 2. Yeah. Since 4 divided by 2, here is 2. And here also 2. Okay. And then here is not 1 over 6, but 2 over 3. Yeah. Okay. So this one is the final answer. Yeah. Okay. Any question for this one? Yeah. Okay, and then vector expression of angular velocities and acceleration. Yeah. If the body is rigid, this equation for angular velocity and acceleration hold for all points on the body with right hand rule to determine direction. Angular velocity and acceleration can be written as vectors. If the body rotates around the vectors, then the vector point along the axis of rotation. Angular displacement are not vectors because the order of rotation matters for rotations around different axes. Okay, so angular displacement is not are not vectors. Okay, so this one is a rotation with constant angular acceleration. Okay, remember again in kinematics equation. Yeah, I think we have discussed it in the second meeting. There are several kind of equation here. This one is for linear equation. Yeah, yeah. For example, that v is equal to v0 plus at. Yeah, v0 is the initial velocity and at is accelerations multiple by time. Okay, so for rotation, this is the similar equation. We can use omega. Yeah, it means we change v velocity to omega. Okay, omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. Yeah, and then delta x or the displacement equal to v0 times plus half at square. Okay, it is analog to here. If we search the displacement angle, yeah, or delta theta, it is equal to omega 0 times t plus half alpha t square. Okay, yeah. Also for here, it's, it's analog to here. It means that uh, like this, yeah. So omega x in one-dimensional motion is analog to theta, and then v in one-dimensional motion is analog to omega, and a, the acceleration, it is analog to alpha. Yeah, but time also the same. Okay, so here for linear motion, but here is for rotational motion. Yeah, Okay, remember the symbol, it is analog. Yeah. So position X in linear motion is analog to angle or position angle. But linear velocity, it is analog to omega. Omega is angular velocity. Okay. And A, the acceleration analog to alpha. Alpha is the angular acceleration. And time is also the same. Yeah. Okay. This one is rotation with constant angular acceleration. In four situations, a rotating body has angular position theta, given by theta equal to 3 time minus 4. And then this one. And to which situation do the angular equation of table this one apply? Okay. So this table is proper for uh, angular acceleration constant, right? Constant angular acceleration. It means that the theta much in t square. It means that's quadratic equation. Yeah. Why? If we derive time twice, theta twice, yeah. So we'll get that the theta divided by dt becomes only one variable, and then alpha, we take the derivative of omega. So here becomes t power 0, right? This one is for uh, constant angular acceleration. So the first one is not quadratic equation. So the first equation is not constant acceleration. B also not constant acceleration since power 3. Yeah. C also not. This one is 2 divided by t square. But D here is quadratic equation. So yeah, yeah. The equation A, I think 3t minus 4. Yeah, this one if we take derivation to twice, so the alpha will be 0, right? Okay. But point A is okay, since if we take the derivative from this equation becomes 0. Yeah, it means constant acceleration. So the right answer is A and D. We know that from point A, the alpha will be 0. Yeah. But from point D, problem option D here is 10t minus 3 and then time. Yeah, 10. So this one is radian per second square. Here is radian second square. This one is constant acceleration. Okay, and then relating the linear and angular variables. So for a rigid body rotating about a fixed axis, relate the angular variables of the body, angular position, angular velocity and angular acceleration, and the linear variables of a particle on the body. Yeah, we can distinguish between tangential acceleration and radial acceleration. Okay. Okay, here dependence of angular variables on radius. Yeah. So linear and angular variables are related by r, perpendicular distance from the rotational axis. Position, note theta must be in radians. So position S equal to theta times r. Yeah. And speed, here v is equal to omega times r. And then we can express the period in radian meter. So t is the period that I mentioned before, that t is time need to make one rotation. Yeah. So one rotation in how many seconds or how much seconds the particle move. Okay. And tangential versus radial acceleration. Tangential acceleration is alpha times r, and for angular velocity radians, omega square times r. Okay. So this one is radial acceleration. This one is tangential acceleration. Remember that we have derived this one, right? In two-dimensional motion. Yeah. I have derived this one before. Okay. Yeah, this one. Okay. So here we have derived the uh, centripetal acceleration. Yeah, if you remember that. So the final answer is A equal to omega square times R or V square divided by R. This one is radial acceleration. Yeah, radial acceleration. It means the direction of the acceleration is to the center of circle. Yeah, to the center of a circle. Okay, here, right? So we start from the polar coordinates and we take the derivative position and then we'll get the acceleration. Yeah. But another acceleration is the tangential acceleration. Okay. So in rotational kinematics, imagine that there is a particle in this point. So there is a t and then AR, yeah, radial acceleration and tangential acceleration. So what is the total acceleration? We'll get this one, yeah, A total. So total acceleration, we can use the vector summation, or this is similar with Pythagoras theorem, right? So A total equal to square root of AT square plus AR squared. Yeah. So this one is the A total. Okay, so this one is a graphical depiction of tangential versus radial acceleration. Imagine that this one, circle traveled by P, here V, the velocity vector is always tangent to the circle around the rotational axis, and the acceleration always has a radial centripetal component. Yeah. So radial acceleration, usually we say as centripetal acceleration. Okay. So this one is the same definition. So AT is tangential and then AR is radial or centripetal acceleration. Okay. Yeah. Any questions for this one? Okay. And then the kinetic energy of rotation. Yeah. So the similar way with the linear motion, the kinetic energy is the energy that has that from the motion of the particles, right? Okay. So our objective is find the rotational inertia of particle about the point and find the total rotation inertia. Okay. So rotation kinetic energy, sum over cranks of radii. Apply the kinetic energy formula for a point particle and sum over all the particles. K equal to the summation of half mass I Vi square. Yeah. So the total kinetic energy for particle in the rotation. Different linear velocities, same angular velocity for all particles, but possibly a different radii. Then we can write the velocity in terms of angular velocity. Half mi ri square times omega square. Yeah. So we call the quantity of this one, yeah, is a rotational inertia. Okay, and sometimes it's called as moment of inertia. Yeah. Rotational inertia dependent on axis position. This is a constant for a rigid object and given rotational axis. The axis for I must always be specified. You can write I equal to summation of mi ri square rotational inertia. Yeah. Okay, you can imagine in this situation. Yeah. So for example, if you have three-dimensional Cartesian coordinates, yeah. So this one is x, y, and z axis. Then you have so many particles. For example, this one is particle 1, S1, another particle, mass 2, yeah. Another particle, mass 3, and so many. Okay. And then all of them is rotating in the same way, in same direction. Yeah. Okay, so particle 1 has velocity v1, particle 2 has velocity v2, and then particle 3 has velocity v3. Okay, so if you want to measure the total kinetic energy, yeah, so total kinetic energy is the summation of I equal to 1 to n half mi vi square, right? Okay, so we know that this one is the reference point. So here is R1, R2, and R3. R1, R2, R3 is the radius. Yeah. Okay. So here equal to I equal to 1 to n. Yeah. Can take the summation for this one first. Half mi m1 v1 square half m2 v2 square and so on. Yeah. Then we know that v is equal to omega times r. Yeah. So here is half m1 omega 1 r1 square plus half m2, sorry. So here is omega 1 square, omega 2 square, r2 square. So we can move r m1 r1 square, omega 1 square, and then half m2 r2 square, and then omega 2 square. Yeah. So mass times r square, it is equal to inertia. Yeah. So we can say here is equal to half I1 omega 1 square half I2 omega 2 square. Okay. So this one is inertial moment. Yeah. If the motion in the same omega, we can say at like this, right? Half I1, I2 until omega square. Yeah. So I is definition of m times r square. This one is the inertia moment, yeah, or moment of inertia. This one is moment of inertia. So in rotation, moment of inertia is for very, very important. It is analog with mass in the linear motion. Yeah. Okay. So this one for discrete bodies. How about continuous bodies? So for continuous body, we can use integral, right? So for discrete bodies, we can say like this. Uh, I mean that inertia moment is total from I equal to 1 to n, mi ri square. This one is m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square, and so on. And so on for discrete bodies. But for continuous bodies, we know that r square dm. Yeah, integral of r square dm. This is the form of inertia in the continuous form. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any question for this one? So in general, we can say that rotation inertia depend on axis position. Yeah. This is a constant for a rigid object, and given rotational axis, can write as I equal to summation of mi ri square. Yeah, for rotational inertia. Okay. So for kinetic energy in rotation form, definition of rotational inertia to rewrite the kinetic energy. So in conclusion, we will get that K equal to half I omega squared. Okay, remember that omega in radian per second, and then the angle also for radian. Yeah. Use this equation for a finite set of rotating particles, and rotational inertia corresponds to how difficult it is to change the state of rotation, speed up, slow down, or change the axis of rotation. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this one is very important definition. So, definition of rotational inertia. So, rotational inertia correspond to how difficult it is to change the state of rotation. Okay. So, different axis will be different value of different statement. Yeah. Speed up, slow down, change the axis of rotation. Yeah. Imagine that like this one. Yeah. There are two rotational axes. The first is like this. You can uh, rotate the bar. Yeah, for example, like this one to this one, and but another one is to this one. So this one is the difference inertial moment. The same mass, the same bar, but different inertia moment. Yeah, this one is the important of uh, axis. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll check this one. The figures show the three small spheres that rotate about the vertical axis. The perpendicular distance between the axis and the center of each sphere is given. And the three spheres according to their rotational inertia about the axis greatest first. Yeah. So we can say, so here there are four, yeah, four objects. Oh, sorry, not four, but three. Yeah, three objects. Uh, okay, the first object here, the mass is 36 kilograms, and then the radius is 1 meters. What is the kinetic energy? So I mean the inertia, yeah, not kinetic energy. The inertia is mass times r squared, right? So for object one, you can say as I1, this one is 36 times 1 square, 36 kilogram meter square. Okay. And then for the second object here, the mass is 9 kilograms, and then the distance is 2 meters. Yeah. So you can calculate the mass is 9 kilograms times 2 square. So and also 36 kilograms meter square. Okay. And then the third object here, 4 kilograms and 3 meters. So we can say I3, 4 times 3 square. So and also 36 kilograms meter square. So here the different system, but the same inertia moment. Yeah. So that's why here they are all equal. Yeah. Okay. Here how to calculate the inertia moment. Yeah. So the inertia moment for discrete bodies can use the mass times r square. But later we will study also for another object, yeah, like cylinder, ball, and then rod. Um, they have a specific inertia moment formulation. Okay, here is how to calculate the rotational inertia. Yeah. So our line objectives are determine the rotational inertia of the body if it's given by this table. Yeah. Okay. So here is the formulation. I equal to integral of r square dm. Yeah. Rotational inertia for continuous body. In principle, we can always use this equation, but there is a set of common shapes for which values have already been calculated. Yeah. So, for example, in this table, they have already calculated for cylinder, ring, ball. Yeah, for example, if you want to calculate thin rod, yeah. Okay, in the center, I mean that in the center of mass. Okay, imagine like this one. We can use this formulation. Yeah. Imagine that we have continuous or the same density rod. Yeah. And this one is the rotational axis. Okay, rotational axis. And the length of the rod is L. So here is L divided by 2. Yeah. Okay. So imagine that the half of the length of the rod first. Yeah. From 0 to L divided by 2 here, right? So I can take the integration. The inertia is integral r square dm. Okay. So we know that dm equal to alpha dl. Alpha is the mass divided by length. Yeah. Mass divided by length or density of mass in length. Yeah. Okay. Or dm we can say as alpha dr. It's okay. So I can change here. So here is from 0 to L divided by 2 times. Why we multiple by 2? So since there are two sides here, the first side and the second side. Yeah. So that's why we multiple to 2. So here r square dm is alpha dr. Okay. So I can take the integration. I can move alpha. So 2 times alpha integral 0 from L divided by 2 r square dr. Okay. So the result of integration to alpha here becomes 1 over 3, right? From 0 to r divided by 2. Yeah. Okay. So here becomes 2 over 3 alpha. Yeah. And then here is L divided by 2 power 3 minus 0. Yeah. Okay. So the result, this one is 2 over 3 alpha lambda, I mean not alpha, but lambda. So L power 3 divided by 8. Yeah. So you can divide. This one is 4. And then 1 over 12, right? 3 times 4. Yeah. Lambda L square. Yeah. So lambda times L here. Yeah. Lambda times L is equal to the mass of the root. Okay. So here becomes half 1 over 12 mass times L square. Yeah. So this one is the inertia. Yeah. This one is the inertia for uh, road like this. Yeah. So that's why the final formulation is 1 over 12 ml square. Yeah. For this one, right? Yeah. So imagine that we have thin rod about center perpendicular to length. So the inertia is equal to 1 for 12 ml square. Yeah. Okay. So many objects, for example, cylinder, half mr square, and then ball 2 over 3 mr square. Yeah. This one 2 over 3 mr square is for shell. Yeah. I mean that not solid ball, but solid ball here 2 divided by 5. Yeah. mr square. Okay. Okay. Any questions? And then later we also do the parallel axis theorem. So if we know the moment inertia for the center of mass axis, we can find the moment of inertia for parallel axis with the parallel axis theorem. Yeah. So with parallel axis theorem, the new inertia is equal to inertia at center of mass plus mh squared. Yeah. So note that axis must be parallel and the first must go through the center of mass. This doesn't relate to the moment inertia for two arbitrary axes. Okay. So imagine again for here. So here is the bar, yeah, and then I move the axis to left or right side. Okay. So if I move the axis to, for example, to the left side, okay. So here L, yeah, here is the parallel axis. And then I can calculate the new inertia, right? So inertia at the center of mass, this one is UM, center of mass. This one is the inertia at center of mass. So by use the parallel axis theorem, yeah, can use the parallel axis theorem. So the new inertia is equal to I at COM plus mh squared. Yeah. H is the displacement here. So in this case, the H is half of L, right? And then we can calculate the new inertia 1 over 12 ml squared plus m L divided by the square. Okay. So this one becomes the new inertia is 1 over 12 ml squared plus 1 over 4 L squared. So this one becomes 12 3, right? ml squared. So this one 4 divided by 12 ml squared becomes 1 over 3, yeah, ml squared. Okay, so 1 over 3 ml squared is the new inertia when we move the parallel axis. Yeah. by using parallaxis theorem. Okay, we got the new inertia here. It means that, for example, this one in the center of mass. So we rotate in the center of mass, then we move to here. Yeah. So the inertia will be different. Yeah. Here and change to this one. Okay. Okay. Any question for this one? Okay. We continue to next problem or next materials. Okay, this one is deploying the parallaxis theorem. We need to relate the rotational inertia around axis P to run the axis at center of mass. Okay. Yeah. This one is how to calculate the rotational inertia. Uh, okay, from another point. Yeah. Okay, this one is the example. Calculate the inertia for this one. Rotation axis through end of road. Yeah. Center of mass is half. Okay. So for this one, m0 square plus ml square. So one becomes ml square. This is the parallel axis theorem. Half ml square plus 2m half l square. So it becomes ml square. Yeah. Okay, next is the torque. Yeah. Torque is also the important variables. So for the torque, recognize the torque as a body in force and position vector, and calculate the torque by using angle between the position vector and force vector, and line of action in the moment arm, and force component perpendicular to the position vector. Okay. Okay. Torque functional definition. The torque is the force necessary to rotate an object depends on the angle of the force and where it is applied. Okay. And then we can resolve the force into components to see how it affects rotation. Yeah. Okay. So for example, in this one, yeah, if there is force F and then angle pi and the rotation axis, the distance is R. The torque due to its force cause rotation around this axis, which extend you toward U. But for the force that parallel with the R, it will not affect the rotation. Yeah. So torque in geometric definition, torque takes the factor into account. Tau is equal to Rf sin pi. Yeah. So sin is the functional trigonometric. Yeah. The line extend through the plate force is called the line of action, and then the perpendicular distance from the line of action to the axis is called moment r. Yeah. The unit of torque is the Newton meter. Note that 1 joule is one also Newton meter, but torques are never expressed in joules. Okay. This one is the difference between torque and work. Yeah. So remember that if we discuss about work, this is the scalar quantities, right? Work is scalar quantity, but torque is the vector quantities. Okay. Imagine that we have uh, like this. This one is the pivot, and then this one is the force. Yeah. So this one is R, and then F, and then here is pi or theta. Yeah. So can calculate the torque as R cross the force. Okay. So the torque is equal to R F sine pi. Okay. Okay. So for example, if we have the moment of arm equal to 0.5 meters, and then force is 2 newtons. Okay. And then the angle, yeah, for example, the angle is 60 degrees. So we can calculate the torque, right? So the torque we will get 0.5 times 2 times half square root of 3. So that is sine of 60. Okay. Okay. So here becomes half square root of 3 Newton meter. Okay. The value of torque. Yeah. So here how to calculate the torque. Yeah. Then remember the torque is vector quantities. Okay. It means that if we draw okay, so this one is R, and then this one is the force. So here is the torque. Yeah. Okay. It is obey the right hand rule. Okay. So the torque is R cross the force. Okay. Or in scalar notation, can say as the radius or the moment of arm, and then the force sine pi. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then the sign of torque, as was the case of for rotational velocity and acceleration, torque is positive if it will cause the counterclockwise rotation, but otherwise negative. Yeah. So for several torques, the net torque or resultant torque is the sum of individual torques. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For example, in this case, the figure shows an overhead view. Meter stick can pivot about the dot at the position. Okay. Rank the force according to the magnitude of the torque they produce greatest first. F1. So this one is the pivot point. Yeah. F3 and F1 is the same, right? F4, we need to project it to X and Y axis. And then F5 is will not change the position. Yeah. Since F5 is parallel with R. Okay. So this one is the pivot point. Okay. Okay, and then Newton's second law for rotation, it is also important. We know that Newton's second law is force equal to mass times acceleration, right? In this case, for Newton's second law, mass times acceleration. But in rotation, we do not use force, but tau is equal to I times alpha. I is the inertia and alpha is angular acceleration. Okay. Later we see the relation. Okay, this one. So torque causing angular acceleration, we write F equal to ma with rotation variable, and then tau is alpha, I times alpha. It is torque that causes angular acceleration. Okay. So in this case, if we see that three-dimensional motion, for x, y, and then z, imagine that there is motion here. There is force, then r. So this one is the mass. So for linear motion, F is mass times acceleration, right? But A in scalar form, it means that M times alpha R. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if I times with R, we know that tau is R cross F in vector form. So tau is RF. Imagine this one is 90 degrees. Okay. So equal to M alpha R times R. Yeah. So here becomes MR squared. Okay. So tau is MR squared times alpha. MR square is inertia, right? So becomes tau is inertia times alpha. Yeah. So one is this Newton's second law in rotation. Yeah. This one is the Newton's second law in linear motion. Force is mass times acceleration, but in rotation, I times alpha, inertia times angular acceleration. Yeah. So here tau is a torque in Newton meter, and then I is the inertia in kilograms meter square. Yeah. The inertia is analog to the mass, and alpha is angular acceleration. Okay, angular acceleration in radian divided by second square, right? Radian per second square. Okay, so we get this relation. Tau net is I times alpha. Yeah? This one is torque causing angular acceleration. Okay. So imagine in this case, x and y. So this one is simplification of three-dimensional motion. So in this picture, they only simplify to x and y axis. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? So the application for this one, for example, to rotation in Pali. Yeah. So imagine that we have this one. we already study about tension force, right? Imagine this one is in this case. So there is T1 and then T2. This one is R. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, the tension will be different. Okay. Tension will be different. Yeah. For example, this one there is mass 1 and then here is mass 2. Imagine that mass 2 is more, the weight is more than mass 1. Yeah. So imagine that M2 is more than M1, means that the weight W2 and then W1 here, W2 is more than W1. Yeah. So the second system, W2 minus T2 equal to M2 times A. But in the second and the first, T1 minus W1 is equal to M1 times A. Yeah. So we cannot eliminate the T since T2 and T1 is different. Yeah. In linear motion, we can eliminate the T, yeah, tension force. But in this case, we cannot eliminate directly. So we need to search what is T1 and T2 first. Okay. So we can use the torque here. The total torque equal to R T2 minus T1. Okay. So R T2 minus T1 is equal to inertia of the cylinder. Yeah. The inertia of cylinder times alpha. Alpha is the angular velocity. Okay. So here the cylinder also in rotation. Yeah. Okay, this one is the application of Newton's second law in Pali. Yeah. Okay. And then work and rotational kinetic energy. Okay. This is the rotational work kinetic energy theorem. Is similar that we have discussed before in linear motion. The delta K is the work, right? But in this case, it's rotational kinetic energy. Yeah. So the rotational work kinetic energy theorem states that delta K, K final minus K initial equal to half I omega final square minus half I omega initial square. It is equal to the work. Yeah. The work done in rotation about fixed axis can be calculated by W. Yeah. This one is the work. Equal to integral of theta I to theta final tau d theta. Tau is the torque and then theta is the angle, right? So the constant torque reduced to tau times theta final minus theta initial. And then we can calculate the power. So power is the time rate of rotational work. We can relate work to power with the equation P equal to dW dt. Yeah. dW is the derivative of work by time. It is equal to tau times omega. Yeah. Okay. So this one is the theorem of uh, work and kinetic energy. So translational versus rotational work energy part 1. So here position, velocity and acceleration, mass and work, right? We can uh, make the analog. Yeah. And kinetic energy half mv square, it is analog to k half I omega square. And the power F times V, it is analog to tau times omega. Yeah. Okay, this one is for the work. Yeah. Okay, let's see the example. Okay, I mean in this case, it is the similar to this case. Yeah. So here the block mass M1 460 grams and block 2 has mass 550 grams. And the poly is mount horizontal with negligible friction has radius R 5 centimeter. When released from rest, block 2 falls 75 centimeter in 5 seconds without the cord slipping off on the poly. Yeah. What is the magnitude of the acceleration of the blocks and the tension T2 and T1? What is the magnitude of Palis angular acceleration? Okay. So for this case, we know here that there is weight 2 and weight 1, right? So in the system, weight 2 is M2 times G, weight 1 is M1 times G. Okay. Then we can set this one for the second system. W2 minus T2 equal to mass 2 times A. A is the acceleration. Yeah. The acceleration. And then T1 minus W1 equal to M1 times acceleration. Yeah. And then we can substitute. So one is M2 times G minus T2 M2 times A. Yeah. This one is T1 minus M1G 1A. Okay. So there are three variables, T1, T2, and A. We still not know. Or here there are three unknown variables. Yeah. Okay, so M2 is 0.55, right? We divide by 1,000. Okay, so here is 0.55 times G minus T2, 0.55 times A, and for M1 is 0.46. Yeah, so here T1 minus 0.46 times G. So you know G is usually we use 9.8. Yeah. So here times 9.8, 0.46 times A. Okay. And then after we got this equation, we know that for the cylindrical, okay. So block 2 has falls 75 centimeter in 5 seconds. Yeah. So it means that H is 75 centimeters, is equal to 0.75 meters. Delta T is 5 seconds, right? So we can calculate the acceleration. We use that H half AT square. So we can got the A to H divided by T square, right? 2 times H is 0.75 over 4 divided by 25. This one is 6 divided by 4. Yeah. So the A is equal to 1.5 divided by 25. Okay. Yeah, this one is the acceleration. Okay. If I can divide by 5, 0.3 divided by 5. Yeah. 0.06. Okay. 0.06 meter per second square. So, and then after we got the A, yeah, the radius is 5 centimeter, right? So we got the alpha times R, 0.06 alpha times R. So alpha is 0.06 divided by R. R here is 5 centimeters. Yeah, 5 centimeters, 5 times 10 minus 2. So 6 times 10 minus 2 divided by 5 times minus 2. 1.2. 1.2 radian per second square. Okay, after we got alpha, can use the Newton second law. We know that tau is inertia times alpha. Okay, this one is R times T2 minus T1 inertia times alpha. So what is T2 minus T1 here? This one and this one, right? Okay, I think you can calculate this one, T2 minus T1. Yeah, that we have T2 can move. I mean 0.55 times 9.8 minus 0.55a. Yeah, this one is T2. And then T1 is 0.46a plus 0.46 times 9.8. Yeah, can take the difference for this one. So we already get the A, right? The A is 0.06. You can set it to here, and then you will get the T2 minus T1. Okay, can substitute to this one. Okay, and then after substitute to this one, you will get the alpha. Sorry, inertia. Yeah, you will get the inertia. After you get the inertia, you can what is the magnitude acceleration? Okay, acceleration we have already calculated. Tension, yeah. After you got the inertia, you can I think you can calculate this one first. It's okay. No need to calculate the inertia. Then what is the magnitude of Wallace angular acceleration? Okay, so you will get the inertia. Then fine. Okay, so we have already we can calculate by this equation. Yeah. Okay, any question for this one? Yeah. Yeah, so 4.A here is the magnitude of the acceleration of the block. Okay, the acceleration is 0.06 here. And then for point B, tension, can calculate the tension. This one, yeah. This one and this one, T2 and T1. After that, you also calculate the uh, angular acceleration, alpha. Okay, alpha and inertia, this one. Yeah. Okay, in conclusion or summary, angular position and displacement. The angular position measured around the rotational axis relative to reference line. Theta equal to S divided by R. Angular displacement delta theta. Theta final minus theta initial, and the angular velocity or angular speed. Yeah. So this one is the angular acceleration. And the relation of kinetic and work. Kinetic energy is half I omega square, and then how to calculate the parallel axis theorem. Yeah. Okay, any question for this one? Okay. Okay. So for rotational kinematics, here there are some example, yeah, problems. Okay, I think we need to select some problems here. For example, number three. Yeah. And then this one. Okay. Yeah. And this one, yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Yeah. Maybe you can try to solve the problem first. Yeah. As usual in the paper. Yeah. So there are three numbers. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm. Next week. Oh,
What would the topics be covered for terms?
midterm test.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Topics will be covered.
Okay. So next week we'll do the midterm test at next Wednesday. Yeah. So the topics are from work and then rotational dynamics, yeah, momentum, and also next section we will discuss about oscillations.
So there are three topics.
Three topics, yeah. So work and then work including kinetic and potential energy, and then rotational dynamics, momentum, and oscillation. Four topics.
So it's everything from the quiz.
Yeah, after the quiz, mainly after the quiz. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
the date,
Yeah.
it's our final exam.
Interesting. Yeah.
It
Hmm.
will,
Yeah. For midterm test next week. Yeah. Next week at 8 July.
it's,
Yeah.
it's for the final exam.
Final, I think, sorry, 1, 2,
Is it gonna be in time or the first week of
think,
August?
yeah, this one around 5 or 12, I think. Yeah,
5 of them.
5 of them. Maybe 5, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe
5
five.
August. Yeah, 5 August. Okay, final.
That's
Yeah.
for the midterm. We will explore all the material from
Yeah.
the beginning to the
Yeah, from momentum, yeah. Sorry, not from work. Yeah, work
from work.
until oscillations. Yeah. Okay. So for next midterm, I will write here. Yeah. So we have kinematics and dynamics for quiz, right? So for midterm test, those are, sorry, where I will write and select what's out whiteboard. So we will do the test. Okay. Right. So others on work and energy. Including also energy. Yeah, the energy and potential energy. The work. The second topic is the momentum. Momentum, and then momentum. And then and collision. Okay. Collision. Four topics. Third topic is the or protection of energy, inertia. And the fourth topic, so the agenda will discuss at next time. Next Monday will discuss about solution. So then it's where simple question. Really, but it's all with context. Then you conclusion, it's it for different mass. In 1 or 2 piece of paper.
So we want one approve the government. America, we want to just. Two piece of, yeah, that's okay. Two piece of person. Yeah, yeah, 4 pages. Okay. Yeah, any questions? Yeah, maximum A4. You can use A4. Okay. Yeah, usually we use blue pen. Yeah, blue pen. Yeah. Okay, we can do this one first. Okay.